I've set myself the challenge of photographing wild rabbits, but they can be very difficult here in the UK. They have acute senses and are always on the lookout for danger. So how can I improve my chances of success? I decided to take a leaf out of Trond Westby's book. Trond is one of my favourite YouTubers and he regularly uses camouflage to get close to his subjects. But will it work for me? I'm lucky that I've found the ideal site to photograph rabbits on private land. Rabbits are particularly active both early and late in the day. So for my first session, I arrived late in the afternoon, prepared to wait it out until at least sunset. I'd chosen my spot fairly close to the fence line, which allowed me to shoot almost the full length of the field and get good backgrounds. I decided to try a relatively simple approach using camouflage but a little further back from the action, sitting myself on a low seat with the camera on my tripod. I'm wearing what's called a ghillie suit, essentially making yourself look like a bush rather than a threatening human, but it's crucial to remain as still as possible. I really didn't know if this was going to work, but I wanted to try. I couldn't believe it when after just a few short minutes my first rabbit appeared. I moved very slowly and started to take pictures. Soon after, another 3 appeared and then I lost count. At times there must have been at least a dozen. The lighting situation is really good here. Earlier in the afternoon it's side lit from the right hand side and later on the sun moves round so it's more behind me. With this angle of shooting and some of the raised tufts and vegetation, I wasn't sure if the subject tracking would work well enough. I'd also never photographed rabbits before with my Canon R6, so I went with a single spot focus and it works really well. Perhaps next time I'll try the subject tracking. It really was fascinating to watch this group of rabbits, to see their various exchanges, to watch their individual behaviour. Photographing animals displaying behaviour like this really is the holy grail. This one, I think, may have been collecting some bedding. At times a couple of them would stand on their hind legs looking for predators, and there were occasions where all of a sudden the whole lot would scarper, only for me to look up and see a buzzard circling overhead. Occasionally I could hear thumping sounds coming from the hedge. I'm pretty sure this was the rabbits. It's a remarkable piece of behaviour. They'll thump their hind legs on the ground as a warning to others of nearby danger. This sound then reverberates throughout the underground chambers assigned to stay below ground until danger's past. At times there were frustrations, rabbits that were close but just wouldn't quite come out into the open. This youngster stayed in this one spot for a good 10 minutes with annoying pieces of bramble spoiling my shot. In these situations, you just have to sit back, watch and enjoy. At times the rabbits looked a little more nervous, but I think overall they were relaxed enough with my presence. And just so you know, there's 2 houses here and they're fairly used to human movement nearby. I experimented a bit with my composition, particularly in putting the rabbits to different sides of the frame, some higher up, some lower down, and I really enjoyed using more foreground at the bottom of the shot. That blurry foreground can quite often help to draw the eye in to the image. Some of these photos are cropped, but not a huge amount. And a big shout out to Trond if you're watching, because you do this stuff all the time and I don't, but yeah, it works. I need to pop to the shop for some milk on the way home, so maybe I'll take this off. That was just amazing. I can't remember the last time that I went to do a first session or something and it went like that. It was just unbelievable. I'd been there, I think, less than 5 minutes, set myself up, and there was a rabbit. Not really close, but just there near the edge. And then it just got better and better. But I really want to get down on the ground now. I'm just itching to get down low to their level because it's just going to be fantastic. The pictures I got today and what I saw, it's going to be even better at that low level. And there's such a variety of rabbits, older ones, some real babies. There's quite a few really tiny rabbits. This morning I'm trying a different approach. I'm going to lie myself down on the ground and cover myself with a camouflage blanket. I've also got an extra piece of camouflage netting to put over my head. Today I've decided to go with a beanbag to rest the camera on, and that can be really useful if you're using slower shutter speeds. I've also brought with me a pillow. The reason for this is it just allows me to rest my head on it at times and saves my neck. I'm hoping for a bit of backlighting, but I really don't know how it's going to go. The sun is kind of coming up towards the left of me and there are a lot of trees in the way, but I'm hoping some of that light might filter through the trees. I've taken my glasses off because they keep steaming up, so I can't see in the distance so well, but they shouldn't be too far away, so I'm sure I can pick up the movement. I've been here an hour and I haven't seen anything. Oh my God. What? Oh my God. Did I just see that? That was incredible. I saw a movement. I saw a movement out of the corner of my eye to the left on the other side of the fence. And I couldn't tell what it was, but I knew it was bigger than a rabbit. I resisted the temptation to look, which is really hard sometimes. I just stayed still. And then it moved on and I just caught another glimpse and I could tell it was a fox. It probably knows the rabbits are here. And it's basically walking on the top of their burrows. And I just thought, there's a good chance it'll come into the field. So I got down, got ready. And almost the moment I got my eye to the viewfinder, it stepped into the field. Oh my word. Stepped into that frosty grass. I got some pictures. And then the crazy thing was, it stopped and looked. I stayed still. Then it moved around a bit. It kept looking. I stayed still. It didn't run off. It came all around, all the way to the side of me, and was still looking, and it actually came closer. Just tried not to move a muscle, and eventually it sauntered off. That was incredible. That is a massive success. If I don't get any rabbits, I don't care. Wow. Unfortunately, none of my pictures are truly sharp on the head and eyes, and I've some that are clearly out of focus. I think really it's a combination of my error and some foreground bramble possibly confusing the autofocus. I'll get over it, but it might take a couple of weeks. Anyone tells you wildlife photography is easy, they're lying. Not even close. So, no rabbits at all. And the thing is, there was no sign as well. I never saw a rabbit, I never heard a rabbit, I never heard any thumping. Just no signs whatsoever, so maybe these rabbits, for whatever reason, just aren't active in the morning. Maybe the afternoon, evening is the only time to really photograph them. But that encounter with the fox just made up for that. Well, it didn't just make up for it, it was just the best encounter I've had in a long time, actually. I think this might actually be the first time I've ever used this cover, and I don't know if I've actually used it until today. And they do work, but they just kind of catch on everything, and I found it really annoying today. It was catching on different things. When I tried to lie down, it would catch on the back of my boots, and I think I've just got a bit of OCD, I realised in later life, and I feel like if I can't feel where something is on me and it's just catching, it just really irritates me, as it did today. So Trond, I don't know how you deal with that, because it just drives me mad. But I think what I'd prefer to do is just to wear clothes. Wear clothes is always a good idea. Yeah, just like camouflage, or the full ghillie suit and the camouflage hood, and then probably gloves as well. I still really wanted some backlit shots, so I returned the next evening and set myself up at the far edge of the field, shooting back so I could shoot largely towards the sun. I decided again to lie on the ground, this time wearing my ghillie suit. Before I even got down there, I had this surprise encounter with a roe deer. It is quite windy today, so I'm not sure if that'll affect him. But the wind's coming more from where they should come out. So that's good. Now, one thing I'm not too sure about is if wild rabbits definitely use their sense of smell to detect danger from humans. If you've had experience with this, let me know in the comments. This session was incredibly frustrating. It was very uncomfortable for me, particularly my neck, and I just couldn't get a clear view of those rabbits. Despite there being a fair number of rabbits that did come out, any time they were out, they were just behind one of those clumps of grasses, and despite my best efforts, I just couldn't get a clear view. The lighting here looks absolutely fantastic once it gets into the evening, just as I hoped it would, but I think it's definitely one for a low-seated position. So did that camouflage work? I think yes, absolutely it did. I think it was really crucial in helping to put those rabbits at ease, and that is often the most important thing with your camouflage concealment. If that subject is relaxed in your presence, then you're just going to see so much more, and you like to see more behaviour, as I did, with various stretching, scratching, grooming. All those things are a really good sign that the animal you're trying to photograph is very relaxed, otherwise they just wouldn't be exhibiting that kind of behaviour. But I think what I've also learned with this experience is there's no one size fits all in terms of your approach, your fieldcraft, and indeed the camouflage. I tried a few combinations here with these rabbits. You might have in your head one specific way that you want to do it, but it just doesn't always work out like that. As ever, try and experiment with different things and see what works. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll quite like this one up here, which is an amazing encounter I had with a roe deer buck in the spring. Hope you enjoyed that video. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you next time.